Maybe some onion.
Maybe some onion.
No promising.
So go some footies, grab some energy. Yeah. Let's go.
You're no stranger to having the microphone, you're no stranger to the vulnerability in their senior groups, but you did mention there's a special connection to the Winchelsea Blues football and netball club.
Yeah, they're an interesting club because I've been involved with them hosting presentation nights for the last 4 years. Got a close connection to Daniel Gretzky. I've known Dogs for the better part of probably 15 years, maybe even longer. But every time you come to the club, whether it's at a presentation night, game day, there seems to be a real common thread that they bond together, whether you're football, netball, 90 years old, 15 years old. I just think that it's a special place to be, particularly when you see so many clubs, and so many clubs do some great things, but there's just something different about Winchelsea.
So, tackle your feelings session, rather than talk about this specific one this Tuesday night, how do they go in general, and how do clubs get involved ahead of season 2026?
Yeah, so again, we're pretty lucky in our region that we have Read the Play from a junior point of view, we have Ahead of the Game from a under 18 point of view, and then you've got your Tackle Your Feelings. So our role as facilitators at Leisure Networks is to bring the Tackle Your Feelings session to clubs. We go down the path of looking and going, there's a session there that we can have on any given, whether it's a Monday night, a Tuesday night, or any time that they want to do it. But we'll intertwine with Ahead of the Game and Read the Play, just so that there's some continuity around great mental health, because as we know, people do struggle to put their hand up and say, I'm struggling. Part of the Tackle Your Feelings motto is that make sure that you help your friends and you observe those signs of poor mental health within your teammates.
Yep. From a facilitator's point of view on the Tackle Your Feelings front, how will the day shape, you think?
Yeah, look, we're pretty happy with everything, and it's a fairly low-key event. We don't want to go too big. Last year we were at Ocean Grove, down at Ocean Grove for Ocean Grove and Geelong Amateurs, similar sort of timing, round 16. This year we wanted to come to the GDFL or GDFNL purely because we see all the great work that this league does within community. Myself and Ben Guthrie from Tackle Your Feelings, Michelle Gertz from Read the Play, we sat down and we looked at the clubs that we thought would fit in that mould. Winchelsea was an easy one for me because of the connection that I have there. Thompson being an old team that I played for, very little, but it was great that both clubs got on board here. We'll have a session here on a bit of a luncheon here between 12 and 2 on Saturday that'll be really interesting, chatting to the coaches. It'll be really interesting chatting to some Geelong stars, Mark O'Connor and Zach Guthrie, around mental health. I think it's important messaging, and it's important to keep pushing that messaging from a football and netball point of view, that these clubs that you see here at Winchelsea or any other club, that they are amazing places to be, but they also can have some trips and traps around some poor mental health and drinking and all that type of thing. But I think that it's important messaging to get it out there to ensure that we, I guess in a lot of ways, that we move forward, and we're, particularly as men, we can put our hands up and say, look, we are struggling.
I'd love to ask for your prediction in the senior match, but rather than do that, let's try something different. Give me your impressions of both senior coaches. Obviously, Ben Maloney, who you may have met for the first time tonight, and I think you may have crossed paths with Paul Lynch before in the past.
So Ben, yes, tonight was the first time I'd met him. I've known Ben, and we've probably known each other for a bit. He seems like a really good man. There's been some adversity this year. The club out here have probably had some mental struggles across a number, probably 3 years, to be honest. But he seems like a strong personality. there's changes that leaders need to make within footy clubs to obviously show their sign of understanding mental health, and Ben would have learned some stuff tonight, stuff that he may not have already known, so he can put that in his coach's tool belt. But the commentary that I get back from a lot of people here, particularly here at Winchelsea, is that he's an outstanding young man, and onwards and upwards for him. Hopefully there's some success in the near future. Lynchy and I go a long way back. I played under Paul at Lara. Again, probably a different style of coach. We won a flag at Lara. Outstanding leader both on and off the field from a coaching point of view and then from a playing point of view. He's got way more experience than me from a coaching point of view. He's pretty much coached for the better part of the 2000s, and he's still doing it now and still doing it really well. And Thompson are probably a shot to win a flag. So yeah, look, he's the time in footy that Lynchy's had is outstanding, and look, it's a credit to him. He's won flags in nearly every single league around here, and yeah, you would say that he'd be up there with some of the best community coaches that we've had. We're doing with Read the Play, so there'll be a few dignitaries out here, whether Ben knows it or not. I've got Ben and Lynchy coming in for a quick chat. Last year we had Dan Gorringe come down Ocean Grove, and I had the privilege of interviewing him, and I've had a little bit to do with him over the course of the past couple of years. Everyone knows who Dan Gorringe is. You see him on the sports bet ads, you see him do that. He's all over social, he's very funny, humorous guy, and in essence that's him. But he suffers from social anxiety. So what you see on the screen and what you see on your phones when you see him on social media is almost a mask for what he actually is feeling. You'll notice that he doesn't go to the footy a whole lot because he doesn't like crowds. So he'll watch Carlton, as everyone knows, he's a massive Carlton supporter. He'll watch Carlton at his home. He'll put posts out, all that sort of stuff. But he suffers heavily from social anxiety, and that has stemmed from everything that he said as a 15-year-old to where he's at now. He's a lot better because he doesn't have that footy side of it. Important part for you guys around this is footy clubs, football netball clubs are an amazing place for social connection, but sometimes they can be, as Sam alluded to before, sometimes they can actually be the worst place to be. So Ben's there, and one of you guys goes, you know what, I don't want to train on a Tuesday night, and actually I don't want to train on a Thursday night. The alarm bells start ringing. We'll go through some case studies a little bit later, but I just wanted to highlight that sometimes what you project to your coach or to your mates may not necessarily be what you're feeling inside, because in a lot of ways that's what Dan Gorringe does.